Tempus here, hello and welcome to Tempus Weekly. This week we are going to be talking about everything guild related. The types of guilds out there, finding the right guild for you, and a bit on guild management. First up, we are going to talk about the general guild types, in case you don't know. There's the Bankalt Guild. A Bankalt Guild usually doesn't want any members, it's just there for extra bank space for a single player. Social Leveling Guild. Basically, this guild is just around for a good time. They aren't really planning to do much endgame content, they basically just keep each other company while they level, though they might also organize some occasional events such as naz'grel 25-man or something like that. Social Raiding Guild. Usually these guilds try to raid on regular days. They probably expect their raid group to be gemmed, enchanted and flasked. In other words, they want their raid to be able to actually take down some bosses, but they don't require people to be experts at the game and don't have any real plans to clear everything on heroic before the next patch. PvP guilds. PvP guilds do everything PvP together, such as rated battlegrounds, arenas and pre-made normal battlegrounds as well. Raiding or progress guilds. Raiding or progress guilds tend to be very strict about member attendance because they are in the guild for one reason and one reason only. They want to kill bosses, and that's right, more bosses, as well as possible and as fast as possible. These guilds require people to know what they are doing, though the level of knowledge and skill required will vary between guilds, as some might want you to not stand in the fire, and a guild like Paragon will want you to do everything perfectly on every single fight. So these are the basic guilds we're going to talk about today. There are many more guild types. Often guilds that have been around a while will start to get a reputation. If you're looking to join a guild, you should try to find one with a good rep, because if people see you are in a guild with a bad rep, getting into pug groups can get harder. Next up, you need to decide where you stand in the game. If you just started your very first character, trying to join Paragon will probably not work out particularly well. You need to pick the guild that suits you. So if you're leveling, go for a social leveling guild with some nice folk while you level up and learn the game. Once you reach the level cap and you've geared up through dungeons, you will want to try your hands at some raids, which means you will want to be in a casual raid group while you learn. Eventually you will reach the point where you might want to join a more serious raiding guild, and so you can start looking at filling applications on websites. Best advice is be honest. If you can't make all the raid days, say so. You will only make enemies if you aren't who you say you are. Next up is running a guild. Now, I've had my own guild, and here's the biggest thing you need to realize. Running a guild is a pain. It really is, so before you start one, just realize that it probably won't be a cakewalk. You will have to deal with politics and all sorts of not niceness. Another big tip when dealing with politics is try to be delicate but don't lie. Lying is never a good idea if you want to build a good guild. So just phrase things nicely but don't talk rubbish. In other words, don't be so blunt. That is one of the things I tend to be. A little bit blunt. So no career in politics for me, I suppose. So, you want to start up a guild or you're already running a guild. Then here is step 1. Identify a goal. What is it that you want your guild to do? Do you want a leveling guild, a raiding guild, or a PvP guild? Next step is to be able to perform at the level you expect others to yourself. No use telling people they must be Paragon material for your raid team, and you can't stay out of the fire. Now don't get scared, I'm not saying you need to be the one true gamer to rule them all in order to run a raiding guild, but it's hard to scream at people if you're the one messing up the most. Once you have your goal and you know that you can perform at the level, it's time to grow with the guild. This is the frustrating part because it is slow, and for every 10 people you recruit for your team, only one of them is any good. And this is why I recommend starting at a lower level. If you start a raiding guild and you have some inexperienced players, that's fine. Get them to raid a lot and they will learn. This is perhaps the biggest suggestion for a guild leader I can give, and that is give people time to grow. If a person is keen and they show up every time, they always have flasks, they always have food, their gear is gemmed right, their spec is great, they are fully enchanted, and they keep trying to learn all they can, that person is the best member ever. Simply because they will just get better and better, and soon they will be at the kind of level you need. Those players are like an investment, and they are the ones I value greatly. But when it comes down to it, if a player is the greatest raider ever, or the best PvPer ever, if they can't get along with anybody and they have a habit of getting on people's nerves, it's time to tell them off, and if they don't want to listen, remove them from the group or even the guild. You don't need people stirring it up, no matter how good they are. The most important thing for success at raiding or PvP is preparation. If your members can't be bothered to learn tactics for bosses or strategies for battlegrounds, you should tell them off and start looking for a replacement, if they don't want to change their attitude. When it comes to a guild website and applications, there are many services to help with this, but the most important thing for a website is that it must be easy to find information about your guild. Why should I apply if I don't even know what you do? When it comes to applications, specify what you are looking for specifically, such as must know class, must be able to pay for own gems and chance consumables, raiding hours are such and such on such and such days, with such and such as a possible extra day. Be specific, tell people exactly what you are looking for, and then give them an easy way for them to tell you about themselves. How long the application process is depends on the guild. If it's for the best guild in the entire world, having a long and arduous application form might be okay, because people will desperately want to get in. And if they can't even fill in the form fully, it shows they can't really be bothered and they don't want it that much. But if you're a social raiding guild, then having a long application form is a bad idea. You need to make it harder for people the more prestigious you become as a guild. When applying to a guild, make sure to fill in the form completely and honestly. If you are inexperienced but you are keen to learn, then say so. As I said before, if you want a long and happy relationship with a guild, honesty is the way to go. When it comes to the trial period for new members, guilds need to push the trial. Not saying bully the poor bloke, but don't make it so that he has nothing important to do if possible. If they are inexperienced, the trial will probably mess up a lot. But that won't be what you're looking for. You know they will mess up, but what you want to hear is how he deals with it. Does he try to blame other people when it is clearly his fault? Or does he say, right, sorry, my bad? Did he look up tactics? Did he pay attention to what you said? Does he get angry and start raging after the umpteenth progress wipe? Contrary to popular belief, progress guilds wipe a hell of a lot, and they can just get back up and try again and again, so you want players that can deal with that. Ask people what they think of the trial. If he really got on their nerves with yelling on vents or typing in caps all the time, then maybe he isn't the best choice for the core team. That's all I'm going to do for this episode, and my, has it been a long one. I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description.